ask you, if I can, about the South African cricketer Quinton de Kock. He pulled out of his country's clash with the West Indies at the 2020 World Cup overnight after Cricket South Africa demanded that every single member of the team kneel before the game to take a stand against racism. Now, I don't know, this whole point about gesture politics, it costs you nothing to do it, but if you refuse to do it, it costs you everything. We've seen this time and time again. What do you make of it's a pretty brave decision by Quinton de Kock?
Well, de Kock has never been a kneeler, and he's never given any public explanation other than he must have reasons why he doesn't want to kneel to Black Lives Matter. Now, there's many, many reasons why you wouldn't want to kneel to them. Neo-Marxist organisation in favour of gender fluidity. They want to defund the police. The police are very important in South Africa for trying to keep any semblance of public order. So he could have completely valid reasons. They talk about diversity. Quinton de Kock, seemingly now, may be at the end of his international cricket career because he hasn't got the diversity and choice of exercising his own statement, which is not to kneel. And this is a tournament, Peter, where Afghanistan is a participant. Afghanistan, under the Taliban, with all its racism and its sexism and its prejudices, they're allowed to participate in the World Cup T20 tournament. Quinton de Kock is out because he won't kneel to Black Lives Matter. And you had Tony Armstrong apparently this morning on ABC Breakfast TV saying, how racist would you be not to kneel? Well, how ludicrous can you get in saying that? Because there's many, many reasons why people might make a personal choice not to kneel, and it's ridiculous to force virtue signalling upon Quinton de Kock. I mean, there's no way in the world they're diminishing racism because the cricketers look silly out there kneeling on the ground. It has no impact whatsoever. They want to do something about a better world. Ask why Afghanistan is in the tournament, given the fact they won't even let girls play cricket.
I've got to ask you just quickly for an observation. You've watched what's played out in Canberra over the last 2 weeks in relation to net zero. There's now not even a cigarette paper between the Labor Party and the Liberal Party. They've got an agreement on national security issues. Labor says it'll buy boats. Labor's backing the nuclear submarine deal. You've got debt and deficit put away as an issue, given that the huge debt, positively, they'll argue, racked up by the coalition during the pandemic. If the only question or the only pitch from the Prime Minister is, well, you mightn't like it, Liberals, but just vote for me because I'm not him, not Anthony Albanese. That was potent with Bill Shorten. How potent is it going to be this time round?
Well, I don't think it's potent at all to throw away the reasons why you won the 2019 election and why Labor lost. So Scott Morrison needs to remember what Matt Canavan did in central Queensland. Huge swings to the coalition, saying that jobs were more important than whatever contribution Australia could make to climate change. So Matt Canavan speaks the truth on this. But, Peter, I think of people like you and Tony Abbott, and I look back and think, what was the 2013 election about, where you fought on debt and deficit? Well, that's out the window now. And you fought against Gillard's carbon tax. We now know, according to the CSIRO, that to get to net zero 2050, you need a carbon price 8 times bigger than Gillard's carbon tax. So what the coalition fought tooth and nail to get rid of 8 years ago is now their policy times 8. So if you can work that out and you can remain a loyal coalition voter, you've got a thought process a bit more acute than mine, I've got to say.
Or you've got convictions that are a little bit more elastic. Mark Latham, brilliant as always. Thanks for your time.